Have you ever felt tired, not in your body, but deep inside your thoughts? Have you ever wondered why your mind feels busiest when your life needs calm the most? Have you ever felt like your thoughts are louder than the world around you? What if your breakthrough begins the moment your mind becomes quiet? In a world that never seems to slow down, many people walk through their days carrying invisible storms inside their minds. They smile in public, stay busy, make plans, and chase goals, yet deep within, their thoughts never stop racing. This is the story of a young man who once lived exactly like that. He lived in a crowded valley where the streets were always awake and the noise never truly slept. By day, he was admired for his intelligence and discipline. By night, his mind replayed worries, plans, regrets, and questions that refused to let him rest. His name was Ren, and his journey would teach him something most people search for their entire lives, but rarely find: how to make space inside the mind so life can finally begin. Ren's days were full, but his nights were restless. When the lamps along the valley streets were finally dimmed and the voices faded into distant echoes, his mind only grew louder. Thoughts rose and fell like waves, replaying old conversations, worrying about tomorrow, measuring his worth against invisible standards he never seemed to reach. He would sit at his window, watching the moon drift across the sky, and wonder why success had brought him everything except peace. One evening, while passing through the marketplace, Ren heard an old traveler speaking quietly to a small circle of listeners. His voice was calm, yet every word seemed to slow the air around him. "There is a master who lives beyond the bamboo mountains," the traveler said. "He teaches without books. Those who visit him return lighter than when they left." The words stayed with Rem long after he returned home. That night, he barely slept. Before sunrise, he packed a small bag, placed a woven basket over his shoulder, and stepped quietly out of the valley that had shaped him but never satisfied him. The road away from the city felt different. The air was softer, the sky wider. With every step, the noise inside his mind loosened its grip. Rivers reflected passing clouds, tall grass whispered in the wind, and for the first time in years, Ren noticed his breathing slow. After days of walking, bamboo forests rose around him like tall green walls. Sunlight spilled gently through the leaves, painting gold across the forest floor. The world here did not rush, it waited. At the heart of the forest stood a simple temple. Stone lanterns lined the path, and a single bell sang softly in the breeze. An elderly Zen master sat on the wooden veranda, eyes half closed, breathing as calmly as the hills behind him. Ren bowed deeply. "Master," he said, "I have come to learn your greatest wisdom." The master smiled and invited him to sit. Without speaking, the master placed a cup before Ren and began to pour tea. The cup filled, and filled, and overflowed. Tea spilled across the wooden table and dripped to the floor. Ren stood quickly. "Master, the cup is full." The master placed the teapot down gently. "So are you," he said. Ren froze. "You are full of plans, fears, expectations, and the need to be right." Silence wrapped around the veranda. Ren slowly sat back down. For the first time in his life, he did not argue. He stayed at the temple. He swept floors. He carried water. He watched clouds drift and leaves fall. He learned to sit without rushing. At first, his thoughts shouted. Then they whispered. Then they softened. Days passed. Weeks followed. One gentle morning, as sunlight stretched across the wooden floor, Ren felt something he had never felt before:
stillness. Not emptiness, but space. He finally understood. Peace does not come from adding more to your life. It comes from making room for what truly matters. Ren bowed deeply to the master. "I came full," he said softly. "I leave open." The master smiled, and Ren walked back toward the valley, lighter than when he arrived, carrying no new answers, but something far more powerful: space. Because your breakthrough does not begin with doing more. It begins the moment your mind becomes quiet.